Hello and welcome to Fresh Face One Shots. My name is Joey.
And I'm Jacob.
And today we are back with Batman the Brave and the Bold. We have issue number 15 today, and it's mostly continuations, a conclusion as well, two conclusions actually, and the start of a new story. So very excited to get into all of this. Unfortunately, there is no black and white story this time around. We were kind of talking before this. I'm assuming it's because there is the Nightwing and Deadman stories a little longer today, so that might be it. I don't know though. I guess I don't know. Maybe we'll never know. Who knows?
I mean, I'm not gonna complain that we got more Kelly Jones art.
Yeah. I mean, you're legally not allowed to. But anyway.
But yeah. Also, this month we've had a lot of one shots. I think this is the last one for the month.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah, so,
and then I think we actually have all of next week off, so that's nice. So yeah, let's have fun with this. Getting into this with Nightwing and Deadman Down the Road Part 3, which is not the last part, which I think we predicted last time. I wasn't sure how many parts this was going to be, but yeah, happy that this is getting a Part 4 next month. But for now, we have Part 3, and I do love specifically the Deadman opening of this. The story he tells about Ramakrishna.
Yes.
I thought that was really, really fucking good.
I don't know. Honestly, this might have been my favorite part. Like, this is the one where Seeley and Jones are kind of starting to peel back the curtains.
Mm-hmm.
But also, Tim Seeley knows he has Kelly Jones drawing his story, so it's like, we're going to go as weird as we can and make this... It's just the gorgeous art. Like, I must confess, I spent a lot more time just gazing at the art for this one.
Was it last issue where you said that as well? Oh no, you said that in Absolute Power. That's right. Check out our Absolute Power #1 review, where Jacob said that he had to read it twice because the first time he was just staring at Dan Mora art.
I was just staring at Dan Mora art, and listen. I mean, there are several. If you follow the podcast, there are several DC artists that I could just stare at all day.
Just
Kelly Jones,
not their art.
Do you know what I mean? I can stare at their art all day.
Yeah.
This. You know, I don't want to say it's weird, but I think it's kind of interesting. The supernatural elements of this story, if that makes sense.
What about this?
Well, you know, Nightwing in my mind, and maybe I'm off base for this, is a Batman adjacent character. Like
that, but I think he's a Batman adjacent character, but I think Dick Grayson specifically is far more open to the more supernatural side of the DC universe, and that's kind of why he's being used in this setting in the way that he is.
And I think it kind of feels right, almost like
it
feels like it can differentiate him from being just a Batman-like character in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. That, and of course he's also starring in this because we've talked a fair few times in our last two reviews of the story about how, you know, there's the connection between him and Deadman, but Dick Grayson being more open to the supernatural, it definitely makes him more at home here as well. And also, I know we've also taken time to appreciate this in the past, but also just appreciate that the headliner story of these past few issues does not actually star Bruce Wayne or Batman in any capacity. So that's just been nice. It's a nice change of pace.
He also hasn't even gotten a whole lot of mentions. Like, Seeley is far more interested in the circus connection between Dick and Boston, which is great. I also love just this atmosphere of, again, continuing the whole idea of circus performers as travelers, and this one being essentially trying to find the end of the line as a physical place. That is in Alabama. Well, the entrance to which is in Alabama, of all places.
Alabama?
Yeah. Certainly a choice.
Yeah.
There's
Kelly Jones also gets to be a bit somewhat gruesome here as well. There's a particular page, I want to say it's 15 of the digital edition, where a guy gets killed, and like you don't like, I guess, physically see it happen in a panel, but like you see it the before moment, you see other characters during the moment, and you see the aftermath all in one page. And it's, I don't know, it's actually really unsettling, despite like not being explicitly graphic. It is graphic in the way it's portrayed, I would say. It's really interesting. I was kind of taken aback by that, but also again, it's Kelly Jones, and Kelly Jones I think can make that stylistically really work, I think. So it's just good stuff. It's really good stuff. We also get some.
This one also
some
goes.
great...
I think this one goes to the darkest place of the story. Like,
yeah,
because we're in this,
especially with our sort of villain reveal towards the end of this one. I found it really interesting. But we do also get some great dead man possessions throughout this. Once again, Kelly Jones just drawing dead man possessing people is fucking fascinating. I love just the physicality of it, watching it, these people like literally morph together and separate, still being attached somehow through these like threads of skin connecting them. It's so cool, so cool. Really love that.
Yeah, and then of course we have the setting of the end of the line, which is this almost phantom train yard where reality doesn't make sense. And because, this has all been searching for someone who's gone missing, and we find her, and so we get just this twist that surprise, she's actually been trying to lure them there. As well as just our Nightwing and Deadman having posse, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, they've gathered a fair few people throughout this. Some very Sandman-looking characters. Yeah, it's they're great. I do like them. But really, where this shines is where this particular part shines, I think, is I love this confrontation between Dick and the woman that we were looking for this whole time. The whole idea of the suicide suspension with the chains connected to her back, I thought was just a really fucked up idea. There was some great imagery for Jones to draw. Also, I know we've also talked before about like this particular story feeling fairly 90s, not just because of the Kelly Jones art, but the art also making this feel more in the way that it is, more 90s in how it's
90s Vertigo specifically, like
like there's something about this particular twist with Stella here, our character that we find, being an almost sexualized character, like being scantily clad in the way that she is, but drawn in such a way that is still reminiscent of that time in Vertigo, where like it was the sexuality of this character wasn't what the character was about, nor was it explicit, I think.
I think it also owes a lot to the classic femme fatale of film noir in a lot of ways, and I think Seeley and Jones are both playing off of those ideas quite well. I obviously I haven't really read anything else by Seeley, though I think you have, right?
I've read his whole Nightwing run. It's so fucking good. You read his
Nightwing run.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, which is, to be honest, after this, definitely one that I'd like to check out.
We should totally do that. Yeah, just don't do the run immediately after. But overall, a really great part. This is to be concluded at the end, and we're gonna pick up there, I guess, next time.
I really hope that like with the winning card, this gets published in a trade. Like,
yeah, I think it will. If not, I hope that it will.
I have a feeling it will. So I'm curious if they'll call it like Batman the Brave and the Bold, or
just Nightwing and Deadman down the road.
Yeah,
I mean, that's equally possible, and still a great way to advertise it. I mean, it's good stuff.
And anyway, once again have other total whiplash.
Such a hard left turn. Time Jerks Part 3. Let's finish this shit off.
I am so glad. I read the first story on the bus this morning.
And you had some time between.
I had a little bit of time in between. Because...
Yeah. You know what, though? I was surprised at how genuinely profound this kind of got.
kind of poignant.
Yeah.
Poignant.
I mean, still starts off really funny. We see the Jurassic League getting wiped out by an asteroid, but also we see Booster Gold going to the Justice League and being like, hey, so I kind of fucked up. Yeah, you guys should come help me. And they're like, okay, we'll go handle it. You take us there, and you just stay behind.
It is. Sit there, do nothing. You, Booster, are basically a misbehaving cat.
Yes. In the middle of all this, we meet Bugster Gold, who is from the alternate history that Booster Gold is trying to prevent from happening. This is a Booster Gold that is here to ensure that the human race is wiped out by this second asteroid. And so what we end up having here is the DC Trinity, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, trying to pretty much having to leave the Jurassic League to their fates. And some really great scenes here, I thought. I especially Dinosaur Superman, I thought had some really great lines throughout this. But also throughout this, we're also getting this really great inner monologue narration from Booster Gold himself about the nature of people existing in the grand scheme of time and the universe, which I thought was really, really cool. I thought there were some really interesting musings that we were throwing into this mostly funny story, but also just getting so surprisingly profound towards the end. I thought it was cool. I do, of course, also end with Booster Gold and Bugster Gold meeting face to face, and Booster Gold leaving Bugster Gold behind with the humans that he tried to wipe out. And ending there, pretty much.
Yeah,
it's a great time. It's a really great time, and also again, I really love that narration. I thought it really.
I predict Booster Gold is going to get a renaissance in the next couple of years.
I would hope so. I mean, they're doing the TV show, right?
Yeah.
It's. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I
may or may not have cast Kuhn and the Jimmy.
I could, if that is the case, I could never fucking complain. I think that is such great fucking casting.
Apparently that was just a rumor.
I mean, I still want it.
It's like, but I want it to be true.
Now that you brought up the possibility to me, I want it. So.
It's like you made it. You made it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, total whiplash.
Yeah, we're going to go into the start of a new story called Duality by Alex Segura, art by Andy McDonald. This is a story about Renee Montoya. Now, I have to ask, I don't know if you actually were aware of this. Did you know that Montoya was the Question currently?
I was aware that she had been the Question in the past.
Okay, no, that she is still very much the Question.
I didn't know how current that was.
It's pretty current. I mean, like, she's also police commissioner currently, which I don't think is something you know as well.
That I didn't know.
Yeah. So there's all that going on. But yes, she's police commissioner, so she's not as questioning as she was in the past. But still definitely there. But a lot of this story is about Renee Montoya dealing with sobriety and giving up alcoholism, and it's
the panel. Best panel of this entire issue. Bottom of the first page of the story.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. I'm looking at the exact one right now. Yeah. It's so good.
Like, that was just a striking image.
Yeah.
So good. Also, this feels it's a detective story.
Yeah. Yeah. Very much so. We see Montoya going to meetings. Other people going through the same thing that she's going through. We meet her.
Specifically, her first Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this real sense that she's there because she's at her lowest.
Mm-hmm.
That, like, they have tried to get her at these meetings, and this is the first time they did. That they've actually worked, and she's there. She has a sponsor called Sally, who is, who was a sponsor.
And following, so eventually what happens, we see that parting ways one night, Allie and Renee leave a diner, and someone follows Allie, and Renee gets a call that night from some mysterious voice that threatens her, and Renee then finds out that Allie was attacked. She is hospitalized, and Renee begins to get curious and investigate, and we end our first part of this story with her once again donning the costume of the Question, and we will pick up there with that one next time.
Yeah, there's actually some really interesting themings with this whole thing, sort of paralleling this anonymity of the Question, the design of that blank face in a suit, with Alcoholics Anonymous. The point is that it is anonymous, that no one's supposed to know, like, everything's supposed to stay at the meetings. As well as the hints that this person on the phone knows that she's the Question. Like,
yes, yeah, fascinating turn of events there. Yeah,
I don't know who this. There's no hints at who this person could be. I mean, there could be hints that we're just not getting because I've never read anything with Renee Montoya as the Question before this.
We should do some stuff with her as the Question, because yeah, I really like her as the Question. I mean, I'm also a big Vic Sage fan, obviously. But yeah, I think we should definitely check some more stories out with her someday. But yeah, anyway, let's move on to our last story of today. Finishing off with, God, what's this one called again? I always forget.
The
Invader?
I think it's The Invader?
The Invader. The Invader Part 3. Yeah.
The Invader Part 3. Gonna be honest. Probably the weakest entry in the book.
I mean, all that said, this is the best part of this particular story.
Yeah, it both. I think this is where the story gets good, which makes it kind of a shame that it's stacked up against 3 very different, almost kind of more interesting stories.
Yeah.
I also think it kind of suffers in its use of Guy. Like, he's less interesting when more Bruce's communication with the alien and coming to this understanding is.
I do kind of fail to see like why Guy was even really involved in this story.
Yeah,
like I mean, like he's comedic relief, as all good Guy Gardner appearances kind of should be. But
it could be Hal. It could be Hal. It could be.
It could be
John.
Any GL. Like, it doesn't need to specifically be Guy.
It could be. It could be Superman. It could be a number of characters.
Yeah.
Like, and you wouldn't change much, which is kind of the mark of not. I don't want to say bad character writing, but not great character use.
I would argue it's more just a result of just kind of not having enough time for this story. I would say either fix it with more parts or longer page lengths,
or even just refocus it. Like,
yeah, so try to like make it a bit more about Bruce's relationship with Guy rather than Guy kind of being just an extra thing here in this story. Because Bruce figures out everything himself here. When Guy eventually gets back to Bruce after the cliffhanger last time, Bruce is like, it's a classic like, hey, this alien that was causing these images in Bruce's mind, it's more scared of us than we are of it, and so they help it to get back to its ship, and they find out more about it. It's part of this alien race that searches the galaxy and universe for understanding and all that. So they send it on its way, and in this sort of like a touching moment where Guy kind of learned more about Bruce throughout this, the alien helps Bruce to mind wipe Guy so that Guy forgets about all the touchy-feely stuff they went through. And it's a funny ending, but other than like the last page, I don't think Guy... I think, yeah, you're right. This character could have been kind of anyone other than Guy. But we do get some nice little zinger lines at the end here between them, which I thought were funny.
The lines they're nice zingers.
Yeah.
It's just... Yeah, like, it's just... As someone who quite started out not liking Guy Gardner and then eventually learned to really like Guy Gardner.
Are you about to say Guy Gardner deserves better?
Guy Gardner deserves better. Yeah,
I love it. I gotta make a playlist on the channel of just like Jacob learning to love Guy Gardner because I think we've chronicled all of those experiences.
Oh, we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was today's issue. Again, really sad we didn't have a black and white story here. But whatever. You win some, you lose some.
I will happily take that sacrifice for the added Nightwing and Deadman pages.
Yeah, no complaints here with that. So, all right. I think that about does it.
Yes.
Check out other Fresh Face one shots that we do. We've been covering Superman by Joshua Williamson, Wonder Woman by Tom King. We also started covering the Summer DC event of 2024 with Absolute Power. We covered Ground Zero, Absolute Power #1. Just last week we had the Superman and Wonder Woman tie-ins. That you can find them all in an Absolute Power playlist on the channel. We've also started covering the new Batman miniseries, Death in the Family, Robin Lives. And seeing as this is our last Fresh Face one shot before our next thing comes out,
we can announce that
at the start of August, it was really more your decision than mine.
It was my decision.
But I'm very glad you came to me with it. We're gonna add a new ongoing to the lineup of one shots.
Well, let's just say, we're both fans of bears.
Yes. Bears I find rather enjoyable, I suppose.
Yes. And certain redheaded bear from Oregon is who is an author that I've wanted to get to since the podcast began, but we just sadly haven't yet. We're rectifying that in one shots as Gail Simone is beginning her run on the Uncanny X-Men from Marvel.
It's true. Uncanny X-Men is starting up the first Wednesday of August, and we'll be here
August 7th.
August 7th. Yep. So we got a little longer to wait from for now, unfortunately, but it's okay. It's okay. It'll all be here, and we will be covering it. So yeah, I'm very excited to start that up. If you want to listen to like past thoughts on Uncanny X-Men stuff, we have covered the first 3 Marvel Masterworks volumes of Chris Claremont's Uncanny X-Men on Fresh Face Comics. There's a whole playlist of that on the channel. You can check that out as well. And also just check out the main podcast in general. We're kind of in the middle of a Marvel block at the moment. We have a Daredevil by Frank Miller episode coming up. We're finishing his main run on Daredevil, and then after that we have more Marvel things coming up. So
yes,
check out all that. I think that about does it. Also, our socials and everything, our link trees will be in the description below. You can check that out as well. Now we're actually done. So thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, this has been Joey Morgan
and Jacob Licklider.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.